society is how it treats its women and girls. Society is how it treats its women and girls.
We create
the smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women.
We can fight.
I'm here because of you. I'm here because girls like you inspire me.
No man is big enough for us.
Many of these girls have faced unthinkable obstacles just to attend school. The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls.
Won't stand still.
Your story is my story. Your story is my story.
Buckle up, buttercups. It's another episode of Surly Voices here on WMNF Tampa 88.5. My name is Liz. I'm one of your hosts. My co-host Maria is joining me. How are you, Maria?
I'm okay, Liz. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. This doesn't happen very often at all, but I've got a caller who's been hanging on since Democracy Now! Wants to talk about Morgan & Morgan creating a third party. So let's talk to Bernard.
Okay.
Hey, Bernard.
Oh my goodness! I can't believe it. My heroes, my GOAT, long time listener, first time calling.
Oh well, thank you for calling.
Yes, ma'am. I just want to get y'all opinion on the third party thing, and personally, I have mixed feelings about it because I'm thinking I don't have no proof of this, but seeing like third party separates the Democrat more so than it do the Republican. And number two, I'm trying to think what would a third party candidate bring to the table that is not already at the table. And number three is, why don't we just kind of work on what we have to make it better? I know the Democrats, not perfect, they're not all that, but I think we need to kind of work on that. But I want to hear from you guys because I'm not convinced about the third party. I'm going to hang up and let y'all guys take at it.
Okay. Before you go, Bernard, though,
yeah.
What have you heard about Morgan & Morgan creating a third party?
That's all I heard.
Oh, okay.
He has a contest, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, He
has a contest of paying $100,000 for a name of a third party.
Ah, okay. So thanks for calling, Bernard, and kicking off the show. And Maria and I will discuss third parties and go from there.
And once again, I love you guys.
We love you too, Bernard. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right.
So we've talked numerous times about the viability of third parties. And the last time we talked about it, I didn't think it was really a viable alternative to the two wings of the same bird. But as time wears on and seeing the absolute apathy pretty much of the Democrats in Congress, I'm thinking it may be time for a third party to rise up. What do you think, Maria?
I think it's going to require somebody who has billions of dollars to invest.
Well, Morgan & Morgan says they do.
Exactly.
So.
In a third party to make it viable. I think the problem with third parties isn't that they. Let me start with the problems with the two-party system first.
Okay.
The corruption of the two-party system is the money in politics.
Yes.
Right? So people love to talk about, we have a favorite caller that loves to come on and say that we are bashing the Democratic Party. The reality of it is that there's a internal struggle within the Democratic Party where you have leadership that controls money, perhaps, or controls the ideology that wants a certain thing, right? We always talk about appealing to their donors, but then you have the people that they are depending upon to actually get out that vote, to actually do that work, to actually vote for them. And those people are, which I consider myself among them, are more ideological, and that it's not really about the corporate interests, but it's about everyday people's interests that are being ignored. So I feel like as long as you have this internal struggle within each party, because we see the infighting or the internal civil war within the Republican Party as well. There leaves that space for a third party, but it has to be stronger than the Green.
Yeah.
It has to be more organized than Green. And once it finds its identity, it has a viable opportunity. Should it be supported financially by individuals that are clear on what their missions and their goals are?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, because a huge, really, part of the problem is you have these candidates who are extremely, egregiously well funded, and the name recognition and all that kind of stuff. For example, Bob Buckhorn of the Biking While Black. He was mayor when Biking While Black went on. He's raised over $1 million, probably as close to $2 million now, from, guess what?
Developers.
That's why we call him Builder Buddy Bob. So Builder Buddy Bob of Biking While Black has raised money from developers and financial interests. And so it's like, if you have a good candidate who's not as well funded, they don't get as much airtime and buzz as somebody does who has these millions and millions of dollars. And so I think the money in politics is a large driver of a lot of the problems that we have. What do you think about that, Maria?
It absolutely is. But I'm always the fan of the person who can succeed even when their headwinds are the outrageous or outsized funding of these other candidates, right? Like we had our state attorney who won. She was outspent by her opponent. $12 million Donald Trump donated to that guy's campaign. But like I always say, it's like you can be outspent, but you can if you cannot be outworked. Usually the one who is doing the work prevails. I mean, I feel like that's happened a lot. I love it when it happens, that there are really bad candidates with long money.
Right.
But then there are really good candidates that get really creative and end up winning.
Okay. Let's talk to Gary in Tampa. Hi, Gary.
Hey, folks. First of all, I wanted to commend that other caller for waiting, had the time to wait to talk to you guys about a third-party candidate, which I've been calling about. And it's just the current system is just obviously not working right now. It's just not working, in my opinion. According to your shows, Democracy Now! Just had a whole segment on that, about how people are shifting back and forth to maintain the status quo, which is not working. So I do not believe that a vote for a third-party candidate is a wasted vote. That's a very poor argument. Ralph Nader was a great candidate. Jill Stein was a great candidate. And she probably would have been a fantastic president. But if you don't do it, if you don't have any hope in it, then it's never going to make it.
True.
So, so thank you so much for having the show. I mean, you guys can talk about it. I'll take it off air. I got to go to work. But thank you so much for having the show. And I just want to commend that caller for having the guts to call in and talk about a third-party candidate. I mean, isn't it obvious by now?
Yeah,
isn't it
is
obvious
to me.
by now that we need? I mean, if you have a third party, it's not going to kill anybody.
Right.
It's not going to throw bombs. It's not going to bomb Iran or Israel or whoever you want to bomb.
Right.
It's not bombing anybody. It's just a third party.
Right.
That's all it is. And yeah, if they don't have any money, well, they don't have any money. Give them some money. But if they can't win on their merits, then there you have it. Okay, I'm going to shut up now.
All right.
Okay, thank you for taking my call.
Thank you, Gary.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. All right. So, yeah.
I mean, so okay. So I think that we're not really nailing the problem, right? The problem isn't two parties. The problem is two corrupt,
Yes.
capitalist parties where it is all about follow the money, right? And the money has corrupted our politics. It's not it's not even a third party being, if the system stays the same, but it's just, if it's just another quote unquote enterprise where we just have a third vehicle to pour money into, set it on fire, but we never get the kind of governance that we want. It's just kicking the can down the road.
Right.
I would love to see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parties, right? And how you have to form coalitions in other countries when you have a government, right? Like you don't just have two parties in most European democracies. You have minor parties that get a seat at the table, but you have to create a coalition in order to govern.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, the thing that distresses me is all these Democrats winning all their elections as they're coming up. You're seeing it pretty much all the time now. It's like, underdog, so-and-so wins, Democrat. That concerns me because that doesn't show the DNC that the error of their ways. In other words, it's still people just voting for the least offensive option. And so
I think in some cases, though, it isn't just that. If you look at that special election race in New Jersey, they had 3 candidates running for Congress. One was like hard right, meaning that they were took AIPAC money, et cetera, et cetera. And then you had one that was a little bit more moderate, and then you had one that was to the left. What the lobbyists did was attack the centrist. And I'm talking about the center of the Democratic Party. What the lobbyists did was attack the centrist, hoping that their right-wing candidate would win. But in fact, what they did was secured the nomination for and the eventual congressperson is a hard left candidate that is not promising that she'll support Hakeem Jeffries for speaker, right?
Well, she's already got better taste than
exactly
99% of the people.
Exactly. So, I mean, I don't think that just because they're Democrats, just because the Democrats are feeling confident, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the case, in terms of it's just more of the same. I think that there's a lot. I was listening to a podcast last night, and they were talking about like Democratic voters want change. And that change is what they want is they want a commitment to prosecute. They don't want to go back to business as usual. There's no more going back. This is broken. It's an opportunity to build something new, build something that's more inclusive, build something that's more people centered.
Yes.
And I don't know that people voting for Democrats want to go back to the way it was. They want consequences, quite frankly.
Well, sure. I mean, that's one thing is like, why are Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer still running the show? Because neither is effective or engaged in fighting against the horrible things that are happening. It boggles my mind. Let's see. We have an email from Charles. The only votes I've ever thrown away are the ones that I cast for one of the two major party candidates in order to only vote against one of them. Of course, that means the last two times. Yeah, absolutely. It's like because the people who supported Kamala Harris are still, complaining about, oh, well, if we'd only voted for her. Well, we did vote for her. A lot of people did. And look where it got us. It still got us Trump.
The other thing about it is, though, too, is that our first caller said that a third party candidate tends to harm the Democrats, and it doesn't really. Bill Clinton would not be president were it not for Ross Perot.
Ah.
Right.
Yeah.
Did Ralph Nader hurt Al Gore? I can't say that he did. I think Al Gore hurt Al Gore. He just was not an interesting candidate.
Right.
Right? Like,
until he became scandalous, and then it was
right. Right. That and that was much later.
Do you
right?
Do you think that the nature of the populace now is so tuned into the scandal part and the exciting part, and they just as soon as somebody comes out with something that's different than the mainstream, it finds them more attractive. Like, well, Trump, of course, is the best example of that. I mean, he had nothing but a talk show in his back pocket, or not a talk show, a reality show, which wasn't really reality, but I digress.
I feel like the thing that Donald Trump did for us is made us numb.
Yes.
To scandal. Right? Like, I feel like we're so numb that when he talks about annihilation of a sovereign country, that we don't even respond.
Right.
Right? Like, there was no outrage. There was no, like, let's take Grandpa back to the home where, the sex scandals were just numb to.
Right.
Right? Like, I remember, I'm old enough to remember Gary Hart and taking a picture on a boat with a woman sitting on his lap, and it completely destroyed his campaign. I remember Bill Clinton and Hillary having to do 60 Minutes because of, like, his affair or alleged affair in Arkansas when he was governor. Now, right, like, no man has gone to jail, no matter the millions of documents that we have on Epstein. Mm-hmm. One person has been prosecuted, and that's a woman.
Yeah.
Right? But none of these men have been prosecuted yet. None of these men are facing time, right, for what they've done. And I just feel like we're just at this point where people are numb to it.
It's trauma exhaustion, for lack of a better word. It's like, because I can remember in his first go around, we were screaming about stuff every day, but then when there's so much to scream about, it does numb you. Yeah. I've got an email, and it says third, fourth, and fifth parties, and we can't get behind any of them. Maria is right. Capitalistic corruption, dark money PACs. Speaking of, thank you, Liz, Donna, and Maria, so much for turning us on to the Clarence and Jenny Thomas documentary. Those two very scary people. Love your show. Thank you so much. Yeah, that if y'all haven't found that on PBS yet, I highly encourage you to go and look. It is absolutely one of the most disturbing things you'll ever see. Let's see. Hello, late Happy Earth Day. Not only does Monsanto make Roundup, but their other chemical division makes white phosphorus that Israel is dropping on Lebanon. Monsanto is now owned by Bayer. Oh, wow. I didn't realize that. Okay. Amy says amen. Let's see. All right, so that's the emails for now. All the phones are now ringing. So let's see. So yeah, we need to not discount the possibility that a third party can succeed in wresting away some of the power from the two wings, same bird kind of situation. And then, the memes I've been seeing lately, Kamala, it's when it has Kamala Harris and Buttigieg together, and it's like, what do you think about this for a ticket? And I'm like, no,
Absolutely not.
Absolutely
not. Absolutely not. I think I'm going to use this as an example simply because it's so glaring. But most PACs do it. And the fact that a PAC is an equal opportunity hostage taker, if you will. They give money to Republican candidates and Democratic candidates.
It's like
right, and there's a lot.
The
banking lobby does the same thing. The healthcare lobby does the same thing. They find their patsy and Big Pharma does the same thing. They find their patsy in whatever party, but they have formed the coalition through money, right? Like Republicans and Democrats, equal opportunity policies on whatever it is that they want for banking regulation, for Big Pharma, whatever it is. That's what PACs do.
Right.
And, that's the kind of thing that really makes it harder for people to get insulin and people to have health care and people to have child care and things like that. So, yeah.
All right. So
it's the corruption of the system.
Let's talk to John in Tampa. Hi, John.
Hey, good morning. I'm going to just talk a little fast here. I agree, and I think almost everybody agrees with everything you're saying. But we got to quit pretending we know how to fix things. And because it's that language, I was a reporter for a long time, and it was if we have some resolve in the pipe, we're the guilty ones. Because the old way, you have to hold your friends closer, your enemies closer, is in here. We have been picking the wrong ones. We need to tell people, if you want Democrats in there, you got to sit them down, and those are ones you got to tell. If you get out of line, if you've got any trash in your can behind you got to just help us get somebody elected. We don't want, the same old. As you just mentioned, Gary Hart. They go back way before that. They all come up and they all got something that is going to stop them from actually doing any good. people have to quit pretending they know what. How would you know what somebody's going to do? You got to let them know that what you're going to do is you're going to get up every day and you want to hear from what they're doing, and keep them in line, because we don't have room to move anymore. We're getting so close to the drain you can hear the gurgle, without even turning on the water. It just knows if it's getting close. So, I agree with almost everything you girls say. I really do. I love to listen to you. I love to hear what's going on. But, I just cringe. I used to sit in the press box, sit there and listen to the commissioners all the time, sitting there acting like they have the solution for this. You got to put up your hands and say, something. One thing we got to know is that we do not have the solution. But one thing we can't have, if you got a lot of problems behind you, you gotta get out of line and just help us out.
Okay.
So I think that it's not playing stupid. It's just being real. We got to quit pretending we know the answers, because if we did, then we're the ones who are screwing up, because look where we are.
All right.
So,
yeah.
all right.
Thanks so much for calling, John. Bye-bye.
I don't know that anybody thinks that they have the answer, right? But to his point, when you go to accounts, I think that the thing that we really need to be talking about with respect to the caller is civics literacy, right?
Yes.
Because when you do go to a county commission meeting or a city council meeting, that cake is already baked. Mm-hmm. They know how they're going to vote. They are going to staff and saying, "This is what I want for my donor. Make it make sense on paper." Right? And as a result, you have, poor infrastructure and things like that, because we're not thinking about, the theory of 7 generations. We're not doing that. What we're doing is selling off collective governance to special interests.
Exactly. Let's talk to Dr. Debbie in Tampa. Hi, Dr. Debbie.
Hi, that's a perfect segue. Good morning, Liz and Maria.
Good morning.
Just really quickly, I wanted to go back to this, the emotional effects of what we have been living through, because I feel like, yes, there is exhaustion, but depending on your identity and your proximity to all of the crazy that has been happening, like you were saying, Maria, like not one male has been prosecuted. This is insane. But going back to all of that, I can speak for myself, and I can say, I don't feel like I have become numb, but I feel like I am a hot emotional mess. Like, and just keeping myself together every day, even as someone who is educated, as a yoga practitioner, as an artist, activist, educator, it is really hard just to, stay grounded, stay focused, and think about the way forward. So for me, I agree 100% as an educator for 30 years, working in all kinds of different schools, civics education, and education is the key. Honestly, I'm thankful that we have had the experience that we've had, because I feel like the Epstein files, I feel like Bad Bunny and the Super Bowl show, all of these things are like litmus tests, and they tell you like where people stand, and it forces like people to, to take a stand and for you to know where people stand. But what just makes me crazy is that my daughter's school, which I'm not going to name the school, is an international baccalaureate school, high school, and a neighborhood school in the West Chase area. When her fellow students decided to do a walkout, anti-ICE, supporting Minneapolis and, the horrible abuses and cruelty of ICE run amok. Like they were, there was a letter that was sent from the school district. Instead of commending them for their civic action and for their sense of like right and wrong and principle. So this is my suggestion, folks. the way forward. Nobody has all the answers, but you got to let the youth lead the way. And I'm really happy to see so many young people, so many indigenous people, so many people of color running. But as elders, like the elders need to stay there for mentoring, for advice, for support, for, all of those other things too.
All right.
So
thank you so much.
Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Dr. Debbie. Bye-bye.
Appreciate you.
All right. Sierra in St. Pete. Hi, Sierra.
Hi, Shirley Voices. I'm so grateful that I got to catch you on my way to work today.
Yay.
It's been too long. Thank you. I agree with everything you're saying. I really love the last caller, Dr. Debbie. I'm on your team. I'm also a healthcare provider. I work as a massage therapist for 20 years in this area, and watching the pure exhaustion from my clients. I have people breaking down in tears in my arms, holding them, just holding space for so many people in this world who are hurting and emotionally exhausted and numb to this is also happening. So many people are closing themselves off to what's happening. They refuse to actually pay attention, and they've become willfully ignorant to what's going on. And so I see every aspect of the spectrum of where I'm working. And I also have lost clients and friends and family who found out that I don't like Trump. And it's happened very recently for me that I had a client. I don't friend my clients, but she stumbled across my page, and she thought I was disturbed and dark, and she told my boss she never wants to see me again after 3 years of me being her massage therapist. And I've had to really sit with this, and I've decided to continue to stay the course in my rebellion against this evil empire. But I have to say, the Iran Lego videos that are coming out, the AI videos, are so spot on that it's funny, but it's also scary how accurate they are.
Yeah.
I stopped myself from sharing it yesterday, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to share it because it's so accurate. And if I lose clients, so be it. I'm going to stay the course, and I'm going to be an activist in every way that I can be. I'm just so grateful for your silly voices. Thank you. And my question today is, do I share that video? Is it wrong? I feel some sort of guilt about it.
Oh, I'm sharing them all the time, so I'm not the person to ask.
I can't tell you to not do what I do myself. I think that the thing for you to think about is, have a professional page, but have your personal page.
Yeah.
Everybody should be invited into your personal space. That's number one. And number two, you lose clients, you gain clients as well.
Yes.
Because there are people, I belong to a lot of groups, and there are people always looking for building the community with service providers that are not MAGA people. So you never know who's gonna come around and appreciate you and what you're doing.
And when one door closes, many windows can open. So
exactly.
Thank you, Shirley Voices, always. I'm grateful for you.
Thank you, Sierra. We're grateful for you. All right. Bye-bye. Let's talk to Stephen in Largo. Hi, Stephen.
Hey, I try to avoid calling every week. I don't want to be one of those people, but your show is extremely relevant, and they always are saying things that are already running around in my head. So here, I think the main thing I want to say is too many Americans, looks like the majority, have lost their fight. They've lost the ability to stand up more than just the No Kings stuff, more than just voting. It could go towards boycotting MAGA businesses, picketing them, like what we saw during the 60s civil rights era, that kind of fierce resistance, especially Black Panthers, and what we saw during the 60s in the resistance to the Vietnam War and the draft, especially from the Students for a Democratic Society and other radical groups who would just take over college campuses and hold the wealthy elite hostage and tell them to their face that they were capitalist, oppressive pigs and they better watch out. We don't have anything like that anymore. And there's a lot of reasons, including antidepressants, marijuana, alcohol, entertainment, cell phones, where a lot of people are just zombies. And I hear a lot of progressives, when I talk to them, they'll go, I'm so depressed about everything Trump and them have gotten away with, and how they've gotten away with pedophilia and ruining our country, and they're depressed. I'm like, did you know there's a saying, depression is anger turned inwards. It's time for you to watch One Battle After Another or Judas and the Black Messiah and start fighting back. Don't just sit there. Don't just be a keyboard warrior. Don't just call in to surly voices, even though that's probably the most exciting experience that we could have every week. But, I mean, just do something other than sitting and going, well, I'll vote or I'll give money to the Save the Garden Coalition, which is fighting to save downtown Clearwater from the cults. I mean, what happened to, fortitude and what Martin Luther King was willing to do on the Pettus Bridge? I mean, where are we? And I mean, Black Lives Matter was kind of like the last time that there was any kind of real fight. And I'm kind of disappointed in my fellow Americans. I talk to my friends in Ukraine, and they always say, you Americans are spoiled, you're fat, and you're unserious. And I'd like to hear what your listeners say about that.
Awesome. Thanks so much,
exactly
Stephen.
right.
Bye-bye. Yeah. I mean, we like to
We are, and you could tell by our elections and who sits in the White House with all this plastic gold painted filigree all over the place, right? That we are unserious people, right? We do not even embrace intellect. We don't embrace, like, we are literally, and I have, a couple of groups that I belong to that we're in academics, and we are actively dismantling higher education in this country to the point where we are not even inviting, and we are restricting the number of foreign students that we will admit to this country to study. When those students come, they make this place a better place. They make the iron sharpens iron. You know what I mean?
Right.
As the saying goes. So, yes, we are a very unserious people. But to the caller's point about, like, turn around and fight, for a lot of people, it's just not that easy. And simply because they're working 2 and 3 jobs just to try to eke out an existence.
Right.
And they are justifiably terrified about, like, repercussions. You see people getting doxxed all the time. I'm not making an excuse for people, but some of those things, I'm not a big fan of No Kings rallies. I think that, that's like peeing in the ocean. But I do think that we have to start thinking about small acts of resistance, being more mindful of where we spend our money with, who we spend our money with, and it isn't enough to vote. It is incumbent upon all of us to be much more civically literate and understand what's going on in our communities and how together and collectively we can change the direction of, what's happening.
Right. Let's see. We have Robin in Tarpon Springs on the line. Hi, Robin.
Yes, hello. Should I turn down my radio? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, very good. I'm calling. The callers that I've been listening to are very concerned about social justice issues and how to participate, and if people are or aren't participating. And my suggestion is to form alliances or join groups that are already skilled at this and support their work. For example, the Quakers have been doing nonviolent resistance for hundreds of years, and they're very good at it. My Quaker friend was just talking about the transport airplanes that were used to transport the ICE detainees were boycotted successfully, and that company backed down. They're not doing it anymore. So I think corporations are easily intimidated by a show of strength and support. So I would say, you don't have, they're not going to try to get you to be a Quaker or whatever, but join an organization that already has systems in place to do this work and form an alliance with them because there's much more strength in numbers. I think that the No Kings rally is a wonderful visual for people to see what kind of support there is. I went to a couple of them and was amazed at how supportive the cars driving by were. So whether that accomplishes anything other than the attendees feeling a sense of renewed strength and hope, which I did, seeing the different groups that came out. This last one I went to, there were more people of color. There were more Latino, Hispanic people. There were more young women. There were more people with disabilities. And I see that whole thing changing and more people showing up. I was surprised to see Latinos showing up to that. But there's also the Unitarian Universalist Church. Our UU here in Tarpon Springs has a social justice branch, and they're always doing activities to support. And you know, they're also not proselytizing or don't want you to convert or whatever. So those are my suggestions, and I just do something, do something, whatever. So
thank you, Robin.
You're welcome. I got to run, but thank you so much. I appreciate what you're doing. Great show.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right. So, yeah, there are tons of social justice organizations out there. This is one of the issues that second wave feminism doesn't recognize, because the second wave was driven in large part by white women who put their black cohorts like to the side in order to get what they were fighting for. And so now
then left the fight. Yeah.
And so we've got black women who have been doing this work for a gazillion years, including our own Donna. And so the people who know how to organize are out there. It's just a matter of recognizing that these people have experience and know better than you do.
But you know what, though, too, because I was thinking about this. It was like we were reading each other's mind, because the reality of it is, and there is no sense of like this collective mission of the work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it isn't until it shows up at your doorstep,
right,
do you actually care, right? And how do I get you to give a damn about your neighbor? How do I get you to care that if trans people might be first, right?
Yeah.
But they're certainly not going to be last when they start coming for people.
Right.
Right? Like, how do I get you to care that every single thread in this fabric is essential to the fabric? And that you just only wait and you only care when it is you.
Right.
Right? Like that is where a lot of this is the breakdown.
All right. Let's talk to Ray in Lakeland. Hi, Ray.
Good morning. How are you women doing this morning?
Fine. How are you doing?
Awesome. Just getting some work done, listening to your show. I kind of wanted to expand on what the last caller was just saying.
Mm-hmm.
We're all of us are just trying to stay connected so that we don't feel like we're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I myself, travel in a lot of conservative circles. I have a lot of conversations with people that are conservative. But the thing is, when staunch conservatives actually deal with the people in their community, they have no choice but to speak a little bit differently. So I guess I have a question, which is, how do we make more connections? And you women would be better at answering this than me. How do we make more connections with people who aren't like us so that they have to face us? That's all.
Okay. Thanks so much, Ray.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Talk to you later. So, Maria, how do we get into organizations? One thing is join organizations, because there's well-known organizations out there. Black Lives Matter is one. They generally have lots of chapters, and there are just tons of play. Well, maybe we need to.
I think that there's also the guidance that I would give is that don't go in thinking that you have all the answers and that it's about you.
Yes.
I would suggest find a way in which you can support the advocacy of what people are doing, learn about the issues and learn about the people who are carrying those issues, and decenter yourself. Right. I think that that's the most important thing, right? Like,
exactly.
You're not gonna walk into any situation, particularly where we sit on the left, and immediately be embraced and trusted, right? You're gonna have to come. You're gonna have to come 4, 5, 6 times. You're gonna have to start helping out. You're gonna have to start doing and showing more so than talking and offering up opinions. And when people learn to trust you and you can build that intersection, that's when it'll work.
Yeah. That's when the magic happens. Let's talk to Christina. Hi, Christina.
Good morning, ladies. I just wanted to kind of piggyback off something a few callers said a while ago. I know there were 2 ladies that called in, and I think they were artists, educators, what have you, and they expressed how wonderful your show is. I want to second that. It's giving us a place to vent and engage. I will say I'm a theater educator and artist and a hardcore progressive liberal, Democrat, what have you. And I've just been feeling like I've been living in a nightmare. And I oftentimes feel like I'm living on my own island, because I'm here in Florida. I got used to my lifestyle in Brooklyn for 20 years, and then I moved here. And then with this Trump regime, I became very depressed, What gives me hope is these callers that have reached out today and said, I'm feeling this way, because it makes me believe, honestly, that there are more of us here in Florida Trump land than the MAGA Floridians would like to admit. And I don't say that in an aggressive, alienating manner. I would love to welcome these people back into the fold if they find their way. But it just gives me hope that there's more of us, and we do need to unite. So thanks for bringing us all together, and I really love your show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Christina. So, that's another thing, too, is reach out to the folks in your immediate circle and tell them how you're feeling. Tell them, you'd like to be more engaged, because no person is an island in this kind of situation. Okay, so the next caller is Ghostface Killah from Pinellas, and I'm interested to see what this person has to say. Hello, Ghostface Killah.
Dr. Cole, you know who Ghostface Killah was. I'm using the name. Did you read the disclaimer?
How you doing?
I hope you read the disclaimer.
Oh, okay. Let me do that real quick. The opinions expressed on Surly Voices are those of Surly Voices and not those of WMNF. And they are not those, the opinions of Ghostface Killah as well.
All right. So just to follow up, one of the guys calls in your show. His name is Steve. He's always saying he's in Clearwater. Ron DeClantis appointed multiple Scientologists to, I got it right here. You guys can go online, figure it, and read this for yourself. DeClantis appointed multiple Scientologists to the state water board.
Oh.
High offices in the state government.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now they're on the state government. Scientologists overall are a big Trump supporter. I know this for a fact. I'm in the county that they're in, and they love Trump. And the other thing I wanted to say was basically the only thing, in my opinion, what can be done is civic education, even if you do it personally with other people, because I try not to talk to Republicans. I find them a bit mindless. Half of them that I talk to, they didn't even know there's a House and a Senate. Okay?
Oh.
They have no idea how many senators are in the Senate. They don't understand what the Electoral College is. It's just basic fundamental things that you learn in probably at the most middle school. They have no idea. So they vote because a lot of them are either the ones I've met are either extremely religious or uneducated, less than a high school diploma, or they dropped out of high school. So they have no idea, and they just go and vote. They either get caught up in an emotional capture from Fox News or Newsmax, and they get sucked into that, and they're just kind of like ants just doing what everybody else is doing.
Right.
And no matter what you say to them, and somebody was saying, this is the last thing I'm going to say. This is why I call myself Ghost Face Killer, okay? You cannot vote. If you really care about this country, and Dr. Cole, you had mentioned this because I was listening to you. You were saying we. But it's not we. It's the Republicans. It's the Grand Old Party. It's the GOP. It's the alt-right wing that's doing it. Trump is a registered Republican now. He's doing it. He appointed right-wing judicial candidates to the Supreme Court. They're Republicans. They're doing it. The Congress is controlled right now. The House is controlled. It's not we, it's the Republicans. So if people want this to stop voting for Republicans.
All right. Thanks so much, Ghostface Killer.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
My only comment to that is in 2022, the Democrats allowed 50 Republicans to walk into state legislative seats because they did not field a candidate.
Yep.
Today, as we sit here and talk, there are almost 40 seats across the state of the state legislature that are still not filled with a Democratic challenger. If you want to take over the state legislature, you want to change things, you want to repeal union busting laws, you want to pay teachers more, you better go help me find 40 people to run for office across this state, because we need people to run for office.
Right.
They know what they're doing, and they don't care. But the Republicans are nothing if we push back.
Right.
But we're not pushing back.
We're not. All right.
And so that I will suggest is our complicity.
Yes. Complicity. DeAndre, I see you on the line, but we are running out of time. And so please call back next week and join us for Surly Voices.
I like diamonds, I like stunning, I like shining, I like $1 million deals. Where's my pen? I'm signing. I like those Balenciagas, the ones that look like socks. I like going to the Tula, I put rocks all in my watch. I like texts from my exes when they want a second chance. I like proving wrong, I do what they say I can't. They call me Cardi, banging body, spicy mommy, hot tamale, hotter than a Somali. Virgo, Ferrari, hop up the stoop, jump in the coupe. They dip on top of the roof, flexing them as hard as I can. Eating halal, driving a lamb. So that bitch, I'm sorry though. Got my coins like Mario. Yeah, they call me Cardi B. I run this shit like cardio.
Up next, we have Economic Update with Richard Wolf.
Support from the production of Economic Update comes in part from Democracy at Work, a nonprofit 501c3 organization and publisher of books by Richard Wolf, who is a professor of economics emeritus at UMass Amherst and a visiting professor at the New School University, has authored numerous books on the subject of social economics, including Rethinking Marxism, Understanding Capitalism, and